Part of being a yoga practitioner is learning how to practice through the ebbs and flows of life. And we all have moments where things tweak or our bodies look quite behaving exactly as we might like it to. It's also our mind many times. And these are the times when we have to resource ourselves in our practice. If you're going through an injury, and it's so common for students not to show up and to stop practicing, but this is when you need practice the most. And through the vinyasa, through the breath, blood circulation happens, and it's this circulation that's very healing for the body. Clint is going to tell his story of when his back, he had a back moment and his back seized up, and he'll share that with us.
So a couple of years ago, I was just practicing as normal, and everything was, was good. And then kind of out of nowhere, I didn't see it coming, as I ended up feeling a really strong pain in my back that literally stopped me from practice right that instant. So what ended up happening is I had to go through this process over the next couple months, trying to reestablish and deal with that injury, which for a back thing it's a little bit scary, but it's different, is that you're not totally sure what's happening. I didn't want to stop practicing, but at the same time, obviously I didn't want to keep going into pain and hurting myself. So with the help of Fiona, we came up with a practice that looked a lot different than what a regular practice would look like, but it was therapeutic, and it allowed me to practice every day, and then over the next couple months start to heal my back. But in the end, I was able to come back to a level that's helpful or beneficial, and then rebuild back to a normal practice.
I remember it was a rough several months. Clint was sleeping on the floor sometimes because he needed a really hard surface. He modified his sun salute down to his knees, and he can show you an example of that. So you'll notice he's working from his knees. This was for a way for him to capture more bandha and more foundation. When he's tall, he's really tall, and his limbs are quite long. So this kind of shortened his lever and made it easier for him to access his core. You'll notice that from down dog it goes back to his knees rather than to standing. At that time, going from standing to seated, like in ekam to dway, or from downward dog to standing, was too hard on his back. And this is really common for people with back injuries. So sometimes you just have to bring him down, make it work from the floor, and then over time, he was able to stand up. When the lower back is sensitive, for many students, can you show the compression again? If you can see all of the skin and his shorts kind of gathering in, this is creating a lot of tension in his lower back. So he's going to do the opposite by really drawing sort of the front. Almost if I had my hand here, he's kind of engaging there, and this stays nice and broad. We're going to need this same action happening. The feet stay nice and open when he does his forward bends. So if I flip him around now to do a forward bend, with forward bends, when someone's dealing again with a back, the tendency can be kind of to be like this more. And I like to think of it as standing. When we're standing, if we were standing like this, we'd be standing with our feet up like this, and that's not necessarily how we want to stand. So we're really trying to find an even platform. If you're doing this alone and it's hard to do it, I'd suggest using a friend. If you don't have a friend, use a wall. And it'll work best if you're not on a sticky mat, because you'll be able to straighten your legs. If you're on a sticky mat, you'll get stuck. And as he does this, this inner leg line gets really sharp and reinforced. If you're alone, or you could have a friend grab your feet, or you could grab your feet yourself and press strongly through those big toes. That's an important connection to make. And from there, the energy is coming right up, and you're really working into the Mula Bandha when you've got this action happening into the feet. And this action, as he presses here through the big toes, is going to be really therapeutic again in helping his back find a place. We've got a nice neutral pelvis here, which is important when the lower back is compromised. And you can see he's not rounding, he's not leaning back. And then the other line we want to become aware of is right here where my fingers are. So it's all the way up. This is strong, 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 all the way to Mula Bandha. And this is really good therapy for the back. So again, the important thing to remember is even if you have pain, in particular we're talking about back pain, which Clint had 3 years ago, it doesn't have to hold you back. You may just have to slightly change the form of the practice, and remember to keep focusing on your breath, on the bandha, on the drishti, and the vinyasa is essential. It will help with the circulation of blood, which is going to then create the healing that's needed. And just enjoy the journey. It will ebb and flow. There'll be hard times, there'll be easier times, but keep practicing and all is coming, as Guruji would say.